Hello, everyone. This is Dave Warner with Small Town Life, part of the Studio 25 podcast network. And today we've got Judge Gregory Amoroso in here. It's part of our continuing series of people running for office that have come through here and want to speak to us. And Judge, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, I usually start out with the easy stuff, like what the hell's wrong with you? No. But, a little bit about who you are, where you grew up, things like that.
Okay, so my name is Greg Amoroso, as you said. I'm a lifelong resident of Rome, New York, so not far from here. So I grew up in Rome, went to high school in Rome, went to college in Utica College, and then went to law school in Syracuse at Syracuse University. So never got too far from home, but a little.
I was going to say, you stayed in that little circle right there, right?
Yeah, and I did live in Utica when I was in college in the dorms, and I did live in Syracuse when I was in law school. So I got a little bit away, but never too far.
I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody say Syracuse is far away.
I know. All right.
If you said Florida or Oregon or California or something like that.
Agreed.
So just stayed home.
Yeah.
What brought you to the law? I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about, well, we had mock trials when we were kids in school and whatever. Was there something that triggered your interest?
So I was actually a journalism major at Utica College, journalism public relations.
Okay.
Never had a thought about the law. And then in my junior year, I had two classes that kind of turned me on to it. One was we did a reporting on public affairs, and we had to go cover, in a local government, but we also had to cover some things that happened in the courts, which I thought was fascinating. And then I took a communications law class that was required for my major, and I was just fascinated by it. So at that point, I think, so it was probably 20 was the first time I ever thought of it. And I said, all right, I think I'll give this a shot and see if it's a possible career.
Well, what drew you to journalism initially?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I just thought I was always fascinated by the news and current events, and I was on the school paper. I just thought it would be like, this exciting, glamorous, I think I envisioned myself, of going right to the top and, yeah.
The Pulitzer Prize
and
everything, right?
Course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because it clearly wasn't the money.
Yeah, no.
Journalism is just not a paying thing.
Yeah.
So once you got that interest in the law, what happened next? I mean, just you continued college and took legal courses, or did you? What happened?
I finished my degree in journalism public relations. I took a year off because I hadn't prepared to take the LSATs or anything. I worked at the Rome Family Wife. I had worked there over the summers in the summer camp, so I ended up that year I was off running the summer camp and running their after-school program during the year. Took the LSATs, and then the following year enrolled in law school. So I had about a 1-year gap, and then I went right back to school for 3 years.
What were your thoughts about law school? I mean, a lot of people say who don't know it's really hard, and you don't pass the bar first time you're out, and all these different things. I mean, what's your sense of law school?
So I agree. Law school is very hard. It was a little bit of a culture shock for me at the beginning because I was someone who always did well in school. Without working too hard. Worked a little bit, but didn't have to work hard. And law school was different. It's a lot of studying, and it's very difficult content material. So it was an adjustment for me to really bulk up my study skills and my ability to sit still for long periods of time, which was not something that I naturally had, to do the homework, which was often 4 or 5 hours of reading every night, after you've been in class all day. So, yeah, it was hard, but it's doable. And I worked part-time jobs throughout law school. I mean, you certainly can do it. And once you kind of get the hang of it, then it's just like any other thing,
What about your peers in there? Was it, you said you didn't ever have to really work that hard. What about them in there? Were they the same kind of people, or did you find that there's a lot of really smart people here, or a lot of,
No, there were definitely some people who took to it right away. There's some very smart people in law school. It was a different experience. I had gone to, as I said, Utica College, and I was very close with all my friends there. I didn't have the same experience in law school. It was a little more competitive at times. And I was lucky that some of my college friends I lived with in Syracuse, so I didn't, I kind of spent more time with them than with my peers in law school. But it was challenging. But it was a good 3 years, and I learned a lot.
What about that competitive spirit? Why is that? Is the ranking of where you are in your class very important?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right.
Especially at the time, like there weren't a lot of jobs. The economy was a little bit of a downturn. So there were certain, internships that they wouldn't look at you unless you were in the top 10% of your class or such. So it was a little more competitive than I was used to.
What were you thinking of doing? Was it a specialty that you wanted to do? Did you end up doing that? Talk through that.
So there was. So it was an interesting when I said that year off, I worked at the Y and I worked with school age kids, and I really enjoyed working with children, but I had never had any passion to be a teacher. Totally respect teachers. They do a phenomenal job. That just wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. But so I had said to myself, right before I was about to go to law school, they offered me a full-time job at the Y. And to me at the time it was big money. Full-time job, it certainly wasn't big money, right? It was a non-for-profit, but it was more money than I'd ever been. More money than I'd ever been offered, right? Yeah. And so I thought, gosh, do I not go to law school? Do I stay with this? So I kind of decided that I would go to law school with the focus of working with children. And the reason that that's a little ironic is because that's now not where my career path ever took me. And I did a little bit of family court work later on as a lawyer, just because I never had done it, and I said I was going to. But my career never went in that path, and that was not what I ended up doing with my my legal career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what did you end up doing?
So as I said, the economy was bad when I got out.
So you didn't go to real estate, right?
Right. The first job I got was actually in my hometown, believe it or not. I sent hundreds of resumes out, and my first job was as the assistant city attorney in Rome. It happened to come vacant while I was looking for a job, and the mayor, Griffo at the time, who's our senator now, offered me a job there, and that's where I started working. And 2 years later, the corporation counsel, the lead attorney, left, and so at 28, he offered me the job to be the city attorney. So I actually was the city attorney for close to 7 years at the beginning of my career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is that like compared to your own practice out there in the world and in dealing with divorces or, power of attorney and things like that, municipal law?
It was interesting because people don't realize that when you work for a city or a county or any type of, even a town, it's a corporation, and it's a multi-million-dollar corporation. So I was actually the chief legal counsel for a multi-million-dollar corporation. They don't think of it that way, and it was like jumping in the deep end. Because you deal with a lot of different issues. You have, you're involved in business transactions and contracts. So you're sort of like the business lawyer, but you're also dealing with the litigation, and you're dealing with, I did a lot of labor management. You're dealing with the unions. You're drafting legislation. You're researching. And whatever topic I was involved in, the attorney on the other side usually was an expert and had been doing it for a lot longer than me. Where we had some environmental issues, and I had, you had top environmental lawyers on the other side. So it was, it really was very important in my development because I learned how to get up to speed really fast and to hold my own, which not a lot of younger lawyers got that opportunity. So I was sitting, negotiating a PBA contract, and the attorney on the other side had been doing it for 30 years. So I had to do my homework. I could not go in there and be unprepared. So.
And the breadth of experience you get from
Absolutely.
that. Just crazy,
Absolutely.
Right?
And in fact, while I was at the city was during the time period that we had Woodstock 99. So I actually negotiated that contract. And it's funny because you have the reaction that people have, they roll their eyes. But during Woodstock 99, the vendors in Rome made a lot of money. The taxpayers didn't have to pay a cent. So we did our job from the contract point. We put it in place. But That was another experience. I was at the table dealing with their corporate lawyers for the promoters from New York City and Albany who had been doing this, and so
for a long time,
right?
Yeah.
And those negotiations often went on to 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning before we finalized the deal to have the concert. So.
Do the length of negotiations like that ever really result in a different end? I mean, it seems like you could solve it quicker, right?
It would seem like, yeah. It's a process you have to go through.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's the rule. We go to 2 a.m. and then we stop.
Yeah. Those are some long nights.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about after that? What did you do?
So I loved my job at the city, and I could have stayed there forever, but I also didn't want to do, one thing my whole life. So I had an opportunity There was a partner in a law firm. His name is Sam Hester. He was one of the bigger law firms in Utica who was going to run for Supreme Court. And he asked me to help him with his campaign. So I was his campaign manager. And then he said, you could either come with me and be my law clerk, or you could go take my place at the law firm and get on the partnership track at the law firm. And the firm is now called Saunders Kaler. It had different names back then. So I took that opportunity, and I did go work there, and I worked in the private sector in that firm for 9 years.
Oh.
Yep.
What was that experience like compared to the fast-paced, broad experience of municipal law? How did that compare?
It was just as exciting. It was different. I mean, anytime you work, there's definitely differences between working for the government or working for a private corporation. There's obviously the profit motivation, and then I was involved with the billable hours and making sure, I was keeping track of everything I did, which I wasn't used to, and I was able to use my experience in the public sector to get a lot of public sector clients. So I did a lot of labor management from the municipal employer standpoint, and the county hired me. That was one of my biggest clients for a few years. I did the labor work for the Utica School District, and then I just had some great corporate clients who I did all their work. I did all their, so it was similar in that respect. I had some clients I did a lot of work for, and I would draft all their contracts, handle all their litigation, really get to know how their companies worked, which was kind of fun.
Did you end up running his campaign?
I did, yes.
Okay, so you got a taste of politics.
I did,
back
yes.
then, right?
Yep.
What was that kind of like?
It's a crazy world. It's crazier now than it was back then, but it was an interesting experience to learn it. I had run since then. I did run a few other campaigns too. So yeah.
Which part do you like better, running or running a campaign?
Oh, I definitely like running a campaign.
What's wondering about?
It's very stressful to be the candidate. I always tell this. So about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I ran for city court, it was so stressful. One of the chief people in Oneida County is our chairman of the legislators, Jerry Fiorini. And he saw me one day, and I just looked stressed, and I was exhausted, and he just laughed. He said, you always tell us, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now you got to not worry about it. And I was like, it's easier to say it than to do it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what was the most exciting part of actually running somebody's campaign? Because it is very different. So let's go to that first side first.
I always find it was fun because I could bring in some of the experience I had when I studied like public relations back years before. I always find politics to be interesting. So the combination of running judicial campaigns, the combination of politics, public relations, and law was an interesting combination. So,
for running his campaign.
Yes.
Now you flipped hats.
Yeah.
I mean, what in the world caused you to think that you want to run for an office when you first did? And when was that?
So I'm at the private law firm. I've been there for about 9 years. As I said, the county was one of my biggest clients, and the county attorney had retired. And Tony Pacenti, who was the county executive, approached me and said, you were recommended. Would you want to come in-house and be the county attorney? And as much as I loved my time with Saunders Kaler, and they were a phenomenal firm, I had really enjoyed government work. I just liked working for the people. So I made that switch. I cashed out of my partnership, and I went into full time with the county, thinking that was going to be the end of my career.
Did you have to run for that office?
No, it's an appointed position.
All right, appointed
so,
position.
But it's very similar to what I did at the city level, except it was much bigger, because now instead of representing the corporation of the city of Rome, I'm representing the corporation of the county of Oneida. And it was also different because at that point now it was a big office, so I was really mostly management. I wasn't in court anymore. I wasn't doing a lot of the legal work myself. I was managing a very large office of attorneys and involved with policy with the county executive. So that was my intention to retire there. I thought that's going to be perfect. Nice cap. I did government, private, and then back to government.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, just 2 years after I took that job, the mayor of the city of Rome, Joseph Fusco at the time, who has since passed, but there was going to be an opening in city court. He needed to appoint somebody who could then run if they were challenged, and he reached out to me. So these jobs, they came to me, right? And it was, I had never really done criminal law. I'd done a little bit of it. I had prosecuted some codes matters, and I had always represented law enforcement in civil lawsuits. So I understood the criminal justice system. I just hadn't practiced in it a lot. But he reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in coming to talk to him about it. And that's a great opportunity when someone's going to appoint you to that. So I thought about it.
Because you don't think about the, gee, I have to run later part, right?
Yeah, I didn't think about that part. I thought, well, okay, maybe I won't have an opponent. But I did make that switch. It was, again, reluctant to leave the county because Tony Pacenti was a phenomenal guy to work for, and I really respected everything he did there. And I was actually there when they settled the whole Oneida Indian land claim, so I got to be part of that experience. But I took the jump. I mean, I had always thought of the bench, and actually Supreme Court was the seat that I thought that I would love to be in someday. But politics, you just never know if you're going to have that opportunity. So I took the opportunity to be appointed to city court, and been there for 12 years now.
You know, why? I always question, like, why do judges have to run? Why do they have to be? Why is it political? I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's you have to pick them somehow. So you're either going to elect them or appoint them. And there's pros and cons to each. Because if we were appointed, it would be just as political. It would be appointed by some sort of government authority would have to appoint, right? So if it was the governor or the state legislature, it's still going to end up being a political process. Like in New York City, they do appoint a lot of their judges. And there's a whole political structure of how to get screened for it and get in line for it and be appointed. So I'm not sure which is better, but this is the system we have. So, so the seats that I've gone for, I've had to run for. So.
Okay, so now, what are you running for?
So now I'm running for New York State Supreme Court, which is a different job than what I do, kind of a jump up. I've been in city court for 12 years. They've been great. During my time at city court, I've not only handled the city court calendar, which is criminal misdemeanors, landlord-tenant matters, small claims, civil matters up to $15,000, but I've also been an acting county court judge for 10 of my 12 years, and in that I've run the United County Drug Treatment Court, which has been a fabulous experience. I'm on the supervising judge for 7 other city courts and 14 other judges, including here in Little Falls. And I'm an acting family court judge. I've had some great opportunities to kind of spread my wings a little bit. And this is a seat has come up that, a Supreme Court seat that traditionally sits in Oneida County. So I put my name out there and started the process about 1.5 years ago. And here I am today.
Here you are today.
Much more tired looking than I was 1.5 years ago.
Yeah. What's been the most... the thing that surprised you the most during this 1.5 year period? Is there anything that stands out as like, God, I never thought about that?
You mean in a good way or in a bad way?
Either one works for me, or both.
I think it's been surprising to me how much support I've gotten. It's 6 counties. A lot of the counties, I don't know a lot of people, but they've been really good to me. Like the lawyers, the members of the political parties of which I'm working with have just been very supportive. So I go to events and I walk into a room where there's 100 people I don't know, and it's not hard to talk to people. They're making it easy for me, and that's been really humbling, but really really nice. So
yeah, it's a big area. Talk about your area that you're going for here.
So it's 6 counties. It's Oneida County, where I'm from, and Herkimer, where we are here. But then it's also Lewis County, Oswego County, Jefferson County, and Onondaga County. So
just checking them off.
Yeah, so it's very big, and with the the population, just from a quick looking up on the internet, there's over 1 million people in the 6 counties. It's population-wise bigger than several states in the country. So it's a very big district. It's a very different type of campaign than running for local office. When I ran for city court, I knocked on everyone's door. That was a lot of my nights, was knocking on doors, introducing myself. You can't do that in a district this size. It's got to be word of mouth, media. So I'm busy every night going to events, but I'm not knocking on anyone's door.
Yeah, no time for that, right?
No. This is you couldn't do enough to make a difference.
Yeah. What's the role of a judge if you win this position? What do you do?
So Supreme Court is the trial court for civil matters over 15,000 and some very specialized areas of law. So as a Supreme Court judge, I would deal with any sort of lawsuit where they're suing for over 15,000, anywhere from civil rights, personal injury, contract disputes. They handle all matrimonial matters. They handle tax certiorari's where people challenge their taxes. They're just the court of general jurisdiction of trial level for civil matters.
And how busy is that court right now? I mean, what's the load on it?
It's busy. I mean, I don't know, not having sat there, but I know my colleagues on the Supreme Court have very full days. It's a different type of busy than I am now. I'm in a court where I'm in court all day processing cases. I walk in every morning to about 30 people waiting to be called because we call. Unfortunately, city court's always in a system where I call it the cattle call. Everyone's on at 9 or everyone's on at 2. Supreme Court has bigger cases and maybe less volume. So I think you work as hard, but it's a little more out of the courtroom, researching, working with the attorneys outside of court. It's not as much. I always say in my analogy is if you look at the medical world, it's the difference between the emergency room and the operating room, right? I've been in the ER for 12 years. We do triage all day. Supreme Court, you can take a little more time and delve a little bigger into the issues. You have bigger cases, sort of like the operating room. So that's the clearest analogy to me, that's the difference.
So I'm the only door you've knocked on. Why would I vote for you?
You'd vote for me because I have the experience. I've been on the bench for 12 years full time, and I can tell you that I've got the temperament. That's very important to the bench, that you have the right temperament, that you are patient, that you are communicative, that you never lose your cool no matter what's going on in front of you, and you make sure that everybody is heard. Because that's huge, because people will be more likely to accept a decision if they know you heard them at least, even if it doesn't go their way. And because, my experience managing a very large, complex treatment court with the United County Drug Court, which with an incredible team, we've been able to grow really big and become one of the models of how to run treatment courts in the state. And that's how one of the important things I think I bring is that I know how to use my position in the judicial system to not only resolve disputes, but to be creative and try to resolve problems in our community, right? So that's one of the things I've learned in drug court, that we can use the court system to try to fix something, not just solve a personal, an individual dispute.
Yeah. And there's some different rules when you're running as a judge for this position, things you can and cannot do, correct?
Correct.
Go through just a few of those just to let people know that it's just not like, say, for instance, me just being able to go out and campaign and do whatever.
So any time as a judge or as a judicial candidate, you cannot talk about any case that's pending anywhere. You're not, for the most part, allowed to really discuss what you feel about certain issues, because you're not supposed to predispose yourself to making a decision. Like when I was campaigning 12 years ago, I'd knock on doors. Well, what do you think about gun rights? And I'd say, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that I would fairly interpret the laws, the way they're written.
So very generic answers.
Very generic answers, because you don't want judges who are going to bring it really doesn't matter what my personal opinion is. That's not my job to make sure the result meshes with my personal opinion. My job is to make sure the result is compliant with the law, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a 14-year term.
Yes, sir.
Right? You're young enough to where you could do it again, right?
I'm actually not.
You're not?
No.
You look too young, man.
Well, thank you. I just turned 58.
All right.
So
I'm doing the math real quick.
Yeah,
so you'd be 72, and you can't do that.
I can actually fulfill 12 of the 14 years. Yeah. At 70, you can sit for a few years in what they call senior status, but your seat becomes open.
Okay.
So I would be able to do 12 of the 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But I appreciate that you think I wasn't old enough.
Oh, right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling old.
I feel like I look very old and tired after
because this has been wearing you down,
months.
Right? I know today you're running back and forth, and so you ran all the way from Rome to here, and now you're running back, correct?
Yes, there's an event that I just found out today in Rome of Meet the Candidates. I'm going to go to at 7:00.
Oh, good Lord. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came by. I appreciate you taking the time to come over to Herkimer County and let us know who you are.
I got to say, I'm a fan of Herkimer County. I've always liked Herkimer County, but through this process, I always feel like they're our neighbor in Oneida County, and the Herkimer County Republican Party has been really good to me. The Conservative Party has been really good to me. And are you from Little Falls also?
Not originally, no.
Okay, but you are here now.
I'm here now.
All right.
My wife dragged me here.
Little Falls has been one of my favorite places.
Really?
I did the parade here for the, is it
Canal Celebration.
Yes.
And well, a lot of people say Canal Day is technically Canal Celebration.
And I thought, what a great little city. I just love the feel of it. And I was here a few weeks ago for the Cheese Festival, which I will definitely be back for.
That was awesome.
It was great.
So you were one of those 17,000 ants walking up and down the street, right?
I got a lot of samples, I'll tell you.
Man, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I've really become fond of Herkimer County and Little Falls, definitely.
Right. Well, we're glad you came out this way.
Well, thank you for having me.
Good luck with the election, and
thank you.
We'll see what happens on November 4th, right? Early voting starts October 25th?
Yes.
We're not that far away.
Yes. All right. Appreciate the chance to talk to you.
All right.
Thanks.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Small Town Life.